Team Slender, and for our IAT 343 final project, we'll be doing our animation on the mythical Slenderman. Slenderman is a creature that was created on Something Awful for a Paranormal Pictures Photoshop contest in 2009. He's depicted as a tall, spindly man who can extend his limbs and cause paranoia and insomnia and memory loss in people, and stalks children. For our animation, we'll be doing a seamless, no cuts trailer for a potential Slenderman movie, focusing on high quality, good production, lighting, and an atmospheric, a really creepy and horrific atmosphere that's suitable to Slenderman. We chose Slenderman because there was a lot of good fan-created material that we could refer to, such as the video game Slender. However, for our project, we decided to recreate Slenderman, and we altered his history a little bit to suit our trailer and our atmosphere. Thanks for listening, and hope you enjoy our project. The trailer begins with the protagonist looking at a detailless door, getting ready to open the door and enter the building. The protagonist opens the door off-screen and enters what appears to be a regular motel lobby room. The viewer may notice several objects in this room, such as the coat hanger and the painting in the wall in the back. However, these objects are not focused on and require the viewer to notice them peripherally. The protagonist then proceeds past the reception desk through to the hallway behind. As the protagonist enters the hallway, he notices a light flicker. Out of curiosity, the protagonist moves closer to the light and examines it. Upon closer inspection, the protagonist notices that the light fixture on the wall begins to flicker even more rapidly. At one point, it even goes out completely, and the screen turns to black. Surrounded in darkness, the protagonist begins searching for his flashlight. Upon obtaining his light source, the protagonist looks down the hallway. He notices that his environment has changed from the warm motel hallway to that of a condemned building. Looking around, he notices that the walls are rusted and torn, and that the doorways that were once open are now boarded up with wood. At this point, the protagonist becomes panicked. He frantically searches to and fro, from the hallway back to the lobby, and heads for the exit. However, he notices that the door is now missing, and what replaces it is simply a blank wall. The protagonist then approaches the wall. He scans it with his flashlight, up and down, searching for the door that was no longer there. The protagonist then turns as he hears a creaking noise behind him. He turns around to look from the source of the noise towards the direction of the hallway. He notices that the coat on the hanger is now missing. The distressed protagonist then proceeds towards the hallway, the only direction he may now go. Passing by the painting in the lobby on his way to the hallway, he notices the painting has changed. Visibly shaken, the protagonist then proceeds deeper into the hallway, passing by boarded doors, unable to hold his flashlight steady. He finds one room that has not been boarded up. The protagonist opens the door and enters the room. He notices that it is littered with kids' toys and other objects. He then hears another noise coming from behind him. Turning around from the entry point of the room to examine the noise, the protagonist looks down the hallway. He sees a silhouette of the Slenderman. This is his first direct encounter with the Slenderman. Static covers his camera. He panics. Startled, the protagonist then turns around and heads back into the kids' room. He ducks in and slams the door closed. The shocked protagonist enters the room and begins frantically searching for an exit. Scanning the walls with his flashlight, he finds that they are covered in children's writings. Desperate for an exit, the protagonist does not examine the children's writings long. He turns to the boarded window to his right. Upon examining the window, there is a slight crack in it, and hoping that he could break the boards down, he examines the crack. Peering into the crack, the protagonist catches a brief glimpse of a street lamp. Upon closer inspection, he notices that the Slenderman is also standing outside, staring directly at him. His camera begins filling with static. Startled, the protagonist swiftly turns and heads towards the exit of the kids' room. The static begins building in intensity. As he approaches the door, he is suddenly confronted by the Slenderman up close. The Slenderman appears for but an instant. Afterwards, the camera blurs out and then cuts to black.